next episode. I want to do a story here that I got on my mind right now, and it's about the death of Herb. It's kind of important to me. I told you guys about my mom on the Mother's Day episode. She's kind of a wild child, kind of the black sheep of her family. And her old man, who raised me from 2 to 11, is a wild animal. I can't say his name, but I can leave little clues about what they call him out there on the long open highway. But because they were constantly in a transition of moving things and stuff on their motorcycles, him and all of his would be my uncles would be driving around, doing things, seeing stuff, talking to people. Well, they would always leave me with Granddad. And this went on all the time. It was like, we're just going to drop you off at Granddad's house for a while, and 2 years later show back up to pick me up. And then that would happen on and off and on and off from 2 to 11 years old. Well, my granddad's name is H.L. His Christian name is Herb. He hated it. I was going to name my son Herb. He told me not to, so I named my son Isaac instead of Herb. But anyway, I want to tell you about H.L.'s demise. So, I moved back home after 18 years of being on the Pacific Northwest, and my granddad's, doing okay. He'd been battling cancer for a long time, but he drank fresh water from his artesian well and lived a good life. He was a pilot. He drove cars for Jimmy Hoffa. One of his clients was Jacqueline Bisset. He used to call her a porn star, but basically she showed her ankle or two. Well, look at the gams on that one. He built airports, ran construction companies, rubbed shoulders with Congress people. He's just an all-around great guy. But when he decided, he was always from southeastern Idaho. Like his family was sent here, generations back, was sent up here by Brigham Young to settle with the right next to the Shoshone-Bannock Indians at Blackfoot. And so they were like founding people that founded the town and built the, towns around southeastern Idaho. Well, they had always lived over there. Well, we're about 45, 50 minutes as far as the car drives from there to where I'm at now. Well, my granddad decided to sell his big old mansion house in, it's like between Idaho Falls and Blackfoot. Well, he sold that, and he decided he was going to get some land up here in Lava Hot Springs and build a cabin. And because I was like always being passed off onto my granddad, it was just natural that I would just go and build it with him. So I'm so happy that we got this time together, as far as me and him getting to spend time and build a cabin with our bare hands. And this thing is huge. It ain't just a little tiny kit cabin. This thing is humongous. Maybe I'll take you up there and show you Granny. But we built it together. And then off and on, like I said, I would be dropped off to live with him. He ended up homeschooling me because he didn't like the way that the school system was acting, and thought I could get a better education by staying with him. So basically we would work on carpentry as far as math skills, and then we would do all the textbook garbage. But also PE would come up, and it would be his World War II, hand-to-hand combat judo book. And first lesson in PE, don't stop punching until they stop moving. So he was kind of a roughneck too, but he was a really good guy, and there's not one person on this planet that would say a word about him because he's got so many friends. Well, anyway, long story longer. I move out here after my run in the West Coast, and I start living where I'm at now, which is about what, 10, 15 minutes away from my cabin up there. And he's not doing so well. And so this is just a little while ago. I'm sitting here and I get a phone call from my mother, and she says, "Your grandpa's dying." And I said, "Yeah, I know. He's been dying for the last 10 years. She goes, "No, no, 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 no. He's dying." And I said, "Well, do I have minutes or hours?" And she says, "Minutes." So I call up the home health aide. She rushes over here, picks me up, and I'm in my full leathers. And I had my goatee at the time was in a ponytail and nothing else. But like, we rush up there, and all the family members who are scared of me or don't want anything to do with me because they know the guy that raised me, you know, the wild animal, and my mom, they kind of just don't, they're afraid of me. They kind of think, you know, with the drugs and the music and the drinking and the bouncing and the fighting and stuff, that I'm kind of a, you know, they're not into that. They're scared of me. So they're all standing there, and I get out of the home health aide's car and I start walking up to my cabin, and they're all trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, "Where is he?" And I just move them out of the way, not even talking to them. I rip off the shades, I take off my gloves, because you don't ever shake a man's hand or look him in the face with sunglasses or gloves on. My hat's off before I even set foot in his house. And I walk, like, not run, but I walk briskly past all these gooky onlooker types. And I'm moving, you know, all these supposed people out of the way who cared so much. And I walk into the bedroom, and he's laying in his bed, just kind of, and I move everybody out of the way. I grab a chair because, you know, I knew where I lived there. It was basically my house for the longest time. So I set the chair down and I sit down right next to the bed. And I start talking to him. I said, "Hey, Granddad, it's me. I'm here." And he just goes, "Ugh." And I go, "Listen, old man, I'm going to be okay. You don't got to worry about me anymore." And he goes, "Ugh." And I grab his hand, and I lean over and I kiss him on the forehead. And he goes, "Ugh." Someone starts talking to me about, "Oh, are you going to get together for the reunion?" I just get up. I'm like, "Well, it's time for me to go." So I walk out of the cabin, and everybody's like trying to grab me, like, hey, where you going?" I said, "I got to get out of here. He ain't here anymore." You know? And me and him had conversations for years before this happened about what I should do. What I should do when he does expire. I said, "What do you want me to do, old man?" And he said, "You know what? Don't cry. Don't have a bad time. Party. I don't have to pay taxes anymore. I can stop getting screwed by the government." So for the last year, I've been partying in memory of old Herb. And while this is going on, my so-called friends can say one word. They're more worried about borrowing money from me, or like whatever they can get, and they didn't even ask. I still haven't been able to put him down. I still have his voice in my head, and I always will. Because they might be able to take the body. I got the blood. And I got to spend a lot of time with old man learning a lot of tricky stuff. Everybody went up, and before the body was even in the ground, they cleared him out. And everybody just descended on his house who hadn't seen him in a long time. Decided to come and take all of his tools and all of his stuff that he didn't care. Everybody grabbed a hold of some family heirlooms. And then they would call me and ask me what I want. You know what I said? I said I got what I want. Because I would trade everything to sit and play chess with them one more time. So I hope they're all happy with all their nice stuff. Sorry, Granddad, I thought I wasn't going to cry, but maybe one day I'll mourn. Hey, that's the story of my granddaddy. Raised me when everybody else was too busy riding their motorcycle. I'll be back with a couple more stories. Some more stories, some horror stories. Hey, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. If you need money and it ain't really important, don't call yourself my friend.